It has been a very, very busy week for Jesus. About 2,000 years ago, the week started with a lot of people singing, praising, Hosanna, Hosanna. Praise be to the one who comes in the name of God. That was Sunday. It was a beautiful spring Sunday. It was a great day. The crowd, the disciples, and Jesus sitting on a donkey entering into Jerusalem. Jerusalem, the city of God. There was Jerusalem, the city of peace, but also Jerusalem, the city of kind of domination, a city of corruption, a city of injustice, a city of people trying to make money, a city of people trying to have a good relationship with Rome, a city that is extremely loaded politically. And Jesus enters. Before he enters, he is crying, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, if only you knew, if only you knew. So that was Sunday. On Monday, Jesus went into the temple. I mean, the temple had different sections, and he probably was in the largest section where you would have a lot of people coming, talking, and then selling stuff. And Jesus was filled with a kind of a holy anger. And he wanted the people to understand this is not the place where you would come and you would do all kinds of business. And people, thugs, would come and they would do something outside, and they would come to the temple to hide. And some would come, and this would just be a place of business. Jesus was angry that the people would turn the temple into this kind of place of bandits, of thieves, of people just being there to make a buck. What Jesus was doing was not being against Judaism, against his own culture, but actually calling the people to the very heart of God. That is, God is a God of righteousness. God is a God of love. God is a God of justice. And God is more interested in us being obedient than us presenting sacrifices and sacrifices. He wanted the people to come back to the real heart of God. That was Monday. And some people, many people, they were upset, especially those who were closest to Rome, those who had a lot to lose. They said no. One of the chiefs said, you know what, guys? It's better for one person to die than for the whole people to perish. For Rome to come and to crush us, to destroy us, it's better for one person to die. He did not know that in about 40 years from that time, Rome would indeed come and destroy the whole temple in year 70. So Jesus upset people, especially the rich, especially the powerful, especially those who had a lot at stake politically, economically, socially. The poor people, they were following Jesus. They were glad. And the disciples, they were glad, but they were also wrong in many ways, because they were hoping that Jesus would establish a kind of a kingdom that would set them in glory, in power. So much so that when Jesus reminded his own disciples that I will be arrested, I will be crucified, Peter said, "No, not on my watch. It's not going to happen." Jesus said, Peter, you'll deny me. You'll deny me. One of them, Judas, said, "I don't understand what this guy is doing." So probably on Tuesday or Wednesday, he went to the chief priests and he said, "I'll hand him over to you. You can just pay me a little bit of money and I'll hand him over to you." They say, "Okay, that's fine." Judas was probably thinking, he raised Lazarus from the dead. He multiplied fish and bread. He walked on the water. He healed people. I mean, this guy, he can do everything, especially this week. This is when we need him to do something. In this big time of pilgrimage, we need him to demonstrate who he really is. But I can make a buck with him. He was the accountant of the group. He had the money. And this is what happened. On probably Thursday night, as Jesus was at a place, Jesus felt, this is the time. This is the time I'm going to be handed over to be crucified. He was really troubled. And he prayed, "Father, if this is even possible for me, not to go through this, but not my will, but yours be done." And in the midst of it, as he was praying, he went to his closest friends, disciples, students, and he said, "You cannot even stay with me for an hour to pray." As he was talking with them, Judas came and gave him a kiss. And Jesus said to Judas, "This is the way that you are betraying me, by a kiss." They came, they arrested him probably Thursday night. And then they did a kind of a quick trial because they did not want to have their hands dirty by the beginning of Sabbath on Friday afternoon. They did everything quick. And they said, "We need to get rid of him. We need him to be handed over to the Romans to be crucified." He was crucified. And when you look at the text that we have in Luke chapter 23, you see that he was crucified among criminals. One at his right hand and the other one at his left. Crucified among criminals. Second thing that we see that not only he was crucified, he was rejected by all. Rejected by his friends, by his students, by his disciples. Rejected by this crowd. On Sunday, they were all saying, "Praise be to God, Hosanna." But on Friday, they said, "Crucify him, crucify him." Such a disappointment. Crucify him. So he was rejected by all. Thirdly, it's like he's also smitten by God. Elohi, Elohi, lama sabachthani. My God, why have you forsaken me? What's going on here? What's happening here? And the text says that the whole nature became dark. like this very gray day that we are having today. It's dark. It's painful. It seems that even the whole cosmos is lamenting of what is happening here. We saw the crowd. They said, crucified him. We saw the criminals. One said, yeah, why don't you do something for yourself? We saw that he was crucified. In the moment, maybe they did not understand what was happening. But later on, as the first Christians are thinking about what happened that day, they saw something in Isaiah 53 that is very, very telling. It says that he was despised. Isaiah 53:3, rejected by men, a man of sorrow, acquainted with grief, as one from whom men hide their faces. He was despised, and we esteem him not. Surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. So what was happening was not just something that happened to him, but he was also carrying us in his griefs, in his sorrows. Oh, yet we esteemed him stricken, smitten by God and afflicted. But more, he was pierced for our transgressions, crushed for our iniquities. Upon him was the chastisement that brings us peace. So as that was happening in time, something else is happening. We are there with him. One thing that I find very comforting is that we are not talking about a God up there, so lost in God's worship that God does not understand our own struggles, griefs, sorrows, pains. He carried our griefs, our sorrows, pierced for our transgressions, crushed for our iniquities. We were all like sheep gone astray. Everyone was going their own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. So the first Christians are thinking, my goodness, it was right in front of us, but we did not see that. It was hidden in plain sight. A text written thousands of years before, and now, so clearly, He is. Born to carry our griefs. And in him we find peace. In him we find hope. In him we find salvation. In him we find reconciliation with God. So when we go through troubles, when we go through difficulties, when we feel alone, when we feel abandoned, when we no longer have family members, when we no longer have friends, when we feel that everything is done, that's it, we know that in Him we have peace. In Him we have hope. In Him we may be reconciled to God, with God. Thank you, Lord. Thank you for this wonderful story, wonderful reality, wonderful that it's so beyond our comprehension. How could this be? How is that even possible? We pray, O Lord, that your peace, your hope will help us and guide us. In Christ's name we pray.